So I'm out here in the blackberries, the container blackberries that I've been raising here. This is my 4th year or 5th year to raise blackberries in containers, and they have done famously. They have really done well, but I've got some issues that have to be addressed before spring comes. So let me show you what's going on. I've had this problem once before, fixed it. This one is multiplied and harder to fix. So let me show you what's going on and tell you what I'm thinking about doing. Still not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but at least tell you what I think about it. So just to fill you in case you don't know, I've been raising blackberries in what we call wicking tubs. These are mineral tubs, syrup tubs, protein tubs that we get, and cattlemen feed them in the winter. They're filled with a molasses type product that gives the cow protein that they have access to all winter long. And wicking tubs have become real popular. A lot of people are planting gardens as well as hopefully, I know a lot of people have planted blackberries in wicking tubs. I'm trying to show that container blackberries do well. But these containers, these particular wicking tubs are, the plastic on them is pretty cheap. They're very thin. I could probably crack this one right now because it's cold. Yep. So it's about 32 out here, and TP2 doesn't like 32, so just to let y'all know. But these are beginning to crack. Some, and I've showed one in the past. I replaced one blackberry plant in one of these in the past. It was a very quick process. I was stunned at how easily it went. And so anyway, I expect it to go just as easily, but I'm not sure exactly what process I'm going to carry out. So I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, and you give me your opinion as to what you think I should do, what you would do in this situation. So I've shown you in the past that wicking tubs, again, crack when they get old. Part of it might be the expansion of the roots coming out, and pushing against it. Part of it is, as you could see when I broke that piece off, these tubs just get brittle. It's a very thin, cheap way. It's a one-use tub. When they make these at the manufacturer, and these came from Tractor Supply. Do More, I think is what these are, protein tubs. And when they come from the factory, they're made for a one-time use. They're made to withstand, a few months, maybe a few months at the Tractor Supply house, and then a few months out in the wild with cows eating out of them, and then they're done. You throw them away. But obviously we've repurposed these, and are proud to have repurposed these. They've done a really good job. But I've replaced that one a couple of years ago, I guess, because it cracked, and I can see already we have another crack in that one. So they don't last that long. So wicking tubs as a long-term solution, and blackberries are a long-term product. A long-term plant. It's a perennial, obviously. So these wicking tubs, because of their cracks, because of these particular wicking tubs, they've got issues. So we're going to try to address those issues. I'm just going to walk around, see if I can find some more, because I thought I saw 2 or 3 cracks. But I'll talk while I'm walking and tell you what I've got in mind. Again, I love having these in containers. I don't have to worry about gophers. I don't have to worry about these. They propagate themselves from the roots. The roots go down, they come out in an alleyway or in a walkway or a driveway, something where you don't want them 90% of the time. But I don't have that problem when I put blackberries in containers. That's why I encourage others to do so. It really alleviates most of the problems associated with growing blackberries, and that is they move where you don't want them to move. They expand in their rows, because this year is it'd be wonderful that blackberry would come out, the root would come out, and it'd pop up right there. But they don't. They typically don't do that. They're going to come out here a foot or two. They're going to come out here 5 feet. But so a row of blackberries that is usually 2 feet wide, after a few years is going to be 5 feet wide. That's why I say if you're going to plant in the ground, make sure you plant minimum 12 feet apart on your rows. The plants can go 3 to 4 feet apart, but your rows, don't plant another one for 12 to 15 feet, because they're going to take up some of that space, and you're going to have to mow over them or dig them up and replant them. I mean, it's a great thing because they propagate themselves. But I've got mine propagating themselves inside a container. When they send out something, they pop up. Now, I did have one that the bottom of it busted out, the side blew out, another crack in the side, and the root came out and rooted and came over here. I showed you that in another video. So, but as long as the container is good, solid, lasts a long time, doesn't crack, these things will stay in a container. When they decide to reroot, that cane might move over here. I mean, this whole thing is just solid roots. As far as being root bound, yes it is, but I don't see that as being a problem. I mean, it hasn't been yet. Let me put it that way, it hasn't been yet. 4 years, they were root bound probably the first year. So if there were going to be problems with being root bound in a container, I would have already seen that, and I haven't. So I'm going to say I'm going to say it's not a problem. I may be wrong, but after 4 years, I don't think I am wrong, because I would have seen signs of the plants are dying because they don't have the roots and don't have the room, they're root bound, blah blah blah. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. So that's what I'm going to say, is I don't think it's a problem. Now, as you can tell, you say, well, all these look dead. Well, I didn't prune out I didn't prune out all my dead canes yet. In fact, I didn't prune out hardly any of my dead canes. I've just been busy with other stuff, and got to do that because just need to give these room to grow. I mean, I've already got the canes up for next year. But anyway, so what am I going to do? Well, am I going to leave them in containers? Am I just going to replace them with some more blue containers? What I have here are my Ponca blackberries. Now, by the way, these blue ones over here, those are Primark Freedoms, which is my favorite blackberry. It's not the sweetest berry. It's not I don't know, it may be one of the more prolific ones, but it's not the sweetest. It's a big berry. I mean, they get big, but it's not necessarily the sweetest berry you're going to taste. And if you're bound and determined to grow the sweetest berry, you probably don't want Primark Freedoms. Primark Freedoms, because it's a primocane, grows 2 crops a year. It'll grow a big crop in the spring, and probably a bigger crop in the spring. And then once those canes die, like these are spring, these are canes that made in the spring, that fruited in the spring, and then they die. Then they send up new canes, which all this green, semi-green growth, all that, those are new canes. When I say new, I'm talking about came up, May or June of last year. They're primocanes, first-year canes. They're going to produce in the spring of this year. Once they produce, they will die just like these, and then the new canes will come up. And because they're primocane. Other blackberries, older blackberries, do not do that. It's only a primocane variety that's going to do that, going to produce you 2 crops. So that's what I like about these. I like the fact that they grow big berries, that they reproduce themselves well, they propagate well. That tub is going to have many more canes coming up in a few months to propagate itself. I like that. I like the taste is good. It's just not the very sweetest berry. Now these are my Ponca blackberries. I didn't take care of them. Got a lot of grass in it. I'm ashamed to even show them to you. But as I've told you in the past, I had a big year last year of trying to abate tornado damage, and I just didn't take care of these like I should. Some of them died. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 good plants. I don't think there's anything in this one that's alive. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. So I got one, looks like one maybe, that I don't think is going to have viable plant in it. I have decided to give these to my neighbor because I'm downsizing a little. The Ponca is a very sweet berry. If you're looking for one of the sweeter berries, Ponca might be it. Ponca seems to be very cold resistant too, where the Primark Freedoms, you get down to 10 degrees, 5 degrees, 0, whatever, it can hurt those canes. These live canes, they're dormant now, but they're live. It can hurt some of those canes. I've had about a 50% die off when we got down to about 0 or -5, I think it was, and had about a 50% die off. No root damage that I could tell, none at all, because they came back the next spring. I mean, when it warmed up, they came back and went crazy. So they wouldn't have done that if there's root damage. Everybody's asking me, what do you do about in the wintertime about your root damage? I just haven't seen any. I don't know. I just hadn't seen any. So what I'm thinking about doing, and these tubs are made out of a different plastic. That is, I can't break that. I don't think I could break that with a pair of channel locks. It's just so much thicker. Instead of being brittle, it just seems more pliable. It's just a different plastic. So my neighbor's gonna come. He's got a bunch of these blue tubs that he's fed with cattle with, and we're just gonna raise these, pop these out of here, and set them back down in his blue tubs. I'll have him drill that hole in them. These should pop out. I'll show you all this. These should pop out in one piece and probably have the corrugated pipe on the bottom of it. In other words, all he should bring to the table is a blue tub, and everything else should be provided for him. That's kind of what I've told him, and he's excited about it. And then what I'm gonna do is take these blue tubs, because they're just not a good sturdy tub for this, and I can't get any more of those. I've asked the feed store guy, where did those come from? He said it was a different company and he can't get any more. So I got them from him. He had used them. So my plan is to take these, pull them up out of the ground, or out of the blue tub, slide one of these under when my neighbor comes and gets them, and just go on growing these in these wicking tubs, except it won't be blue ones, it will be these orange ones. So that's the plan, maybe. So let me tell you my other plan. The other plan would be to put these in earth boxes. I've got 21 earth boxes. I'm thinking about cutting back on the garden this year also, and I could be using, I might be using 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I may be using 10 of them for blackberries, and just show you what it's like to grow blackberries in earth boxes. Now, why would I want to do that? Earth box seems smaller. Well, it's really not. As far as volume of soil, they're about the same, because I have filled up many of earth box and I have filled up many a wicking tub. About the same amount of soil in both of them. But the earth box lasts for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. I've had people over and over and over tell me they had earth boxes 25 years old. So that's my thought. If I go with earth boxes, that's my thought, is that I can, and I may cut back on these. I may even, instead of doing 10 of them, I may give some of these away and just do 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that. But that's my thought as far as the earth boxes go, is do them and be done with it, because I don't think that earth box is ever going to, not in my lifetime. I'm 72 years old, and I've had these earth boxes for about 3 years, so I think they're going to outlive me. And so I really want to put them in earth boxes, but I hate not to use these orange tubs that are so good. I could just repurpose those in my garden and put tomatoes, peppers, squash, whatever in them. And I might. I'm not going to give them away. I'm not going to throw them away. They're going to do something. They're going to do something. So anyway, that's my plan. Tell me what you think about that plan. You may not even like the fact that I'm raising them in wicking tubs, but what do you think about putting them just back in here, at least maybe for a year? I don't know. Or put them in earth boxes. Would you like to see blackberries grown in earth boxes? So if you have any thoughts about what you would do, what you think I should do, or what sounds like a good idea, just, some of you are going to say put them in the ground. I'm just not going to do that. I've been there and done that and just did not like the result, and these have gone so well in containers. And again, I've always got so many blackberries in the freezer, so I don't really need 10 of these tubs. I'm sure friends or family are gonna want some. But anyway, that's my thought, and would like to pick your brain if at all possible, and for you to tell me your thoughts also. The blue ones are splitting, the blue ones are brittle, the blue ones won't last as long as this tub will last, the orange ones, and they certainly won't last as long as the earth boxes. Even the orange ones are gonna give up the ghost one of these days, and I just don't see an earth box doing that. And I'm curious as to whether or not these would do well in an earth box. I don't know why they wouldn't. It's the same principle, same pretty much square inches, square cubic feet of soil and all that. So don't know why they wouldn't do well. So that's my plan. Well, I didn't really give you a plan. I told you what I'm thinking about, and I gave you 2 or 3 options that I'm thinking about. So anyway, tell me what you think about what you would do in my situation, what you think I should do, or whether you just don't give a rat's patootie, you know? And if you don't, that's okay. I understand. All right, it's about 32, 33 degrees. My hands are freezing because I'm not used to this kind of weather. So I'm going to go in the house and warm up just a little bit. All right, we're gone.